All right, 5:30, call to the order. Roll call, Councilman Demo, Councilwoman Hargens, myself, Councilwoman Burnett, Councilmember Chewy is not here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, let us make good and wise choices in this meeting and picking these members today. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, before we get started, if there's any business from the floor, if anybody would like to speak on something that's not on the agenda for this evening's meeting, now's your time to do so. I'm not seeing anybody like to speak. We'll close that. Go to the regular agenda. Interview and selection of the 3 members of the public to serve on the Proposition 68 Recreation Center and City Plaza Design Ad Hoc Committee. I will turn it over to City Manager Christine Miller.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council, and thank you for all the applicants for coming tonight. So I just wanted to start off with that we received 6 really good applicants. So this is going to be a tough decision tonight. I do know that there is value in having a youth voice on this ad hoc committee. So previously staff did make the recommendation that 1 youth be selected. Of course, the council does not have to, but understanding that a lot of the services provided in the recreation center will be geared towards youth, having that youth perspective is certainly valued. So with that, the council will be choosing 3 of you tonight to sit on the ad hoc committee. It is a recommending body. And so I would hope that each and every one of you, regardless of whether you're chosen tonight, you could continue to participate in the public meetings surrounding this project. Because what we learned from the initial phase of public meetings is that it is really critical to hear your opinions, and they are very valued whether you're on the ad hoc committee or not. All of the meetings will be publicly advertised, and your input is strongly valued. If you participated in the process before, you would know that I will specifically call out people because I know I'm shy too, and sometimes shy people have really good ideas. They're just a little bit afraid to vocalize them, and so I really want that community input process throughout. So regardless of whether you're chosen tonight, I hope that each and every one of you will continue to provide your input during these meetings. With that, a few introductions or instructions for the council. Each council member has 1 question that's identified with a circle in front of them. We'll go one by one with each question. So the first question, I believe, will be read by Mayor Robert Snow. Each applicant will be able to respond to that question. Please try to limit your responses to 1 to 2 minutes so we're not here all night. Just keep in time, clarity, and being as concise as possible, if possible. And then after all of the questions are responded to, the council members will do a secret vote identifying their top 3 ad hoc committee members. I'm hoping that through that process, that really quickly identifies the top 3. If it does not, then we'll go to round 2. And I had, where'd they go? Oh, they're right here. I have a spare set in case we need to go there. But all of the council members should have a pen along with a little cheat sheet for their top 3 to vote on when it comes to that point. So with that...
Are we not going to be able to ask our own questions?
You can at the end.
Okay.
So if you have any follow-up questions at the end, I would recommend that you do ask those questions.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions about the process? I would recommend, I think we know most of you, but I recommend that you introduce yourself as you answer your first question so that all of the council members are completely aware of who's responding to what question.
Yeah, and do you want them to go to the podium when they answer, or you just want them to stand in place?
The podium so that the recording picks it up.
Okay.
If you would feel more comfortable, we could pass the microphone around. I don't want to make anybody nervous. So if that would make you feel more comfortable, go ahead and just take it off the little holder and you may sit down. It's not meant to be an intimidating process, although I understand that it is.
Well, I'm going to reiterate what she said. Normally when we have a seat open for any kind of committee, we're lucky to get 2 applicants. So we were very pleased to see, we have 6, 7 applicants for this. I see some didn't make it tonight, but it does make it more difficult for us because we think everybody's qualified. Anybody who wants to sit on a seat to help their community is greatly appreciated and respected. But we only have so many seats available, so we're trying to make the process as fair to everybody as we can by letting you come speak to all of us in person, and then we'll make our choices. And if you end up not being one of the chosen ones, please don't take it personal. I put you all on it right now if I could do that. But at this point, we have 3 seats available, and we're just making the best choices we can, and we hope you participate going forward afterwards, even if you're not chosen. Anybody else got anything like that to add? If not, start with question 1.
Who's going to be first one up?
Well, I'm going to read the question out loud, and if somebody wants it repeated when it's their time to speak, just let me know. Do they have these questions in front of them or no?
No, they do.
Okay.
I could, since you have additional, I can make a quick copy so that they have them. I think that might be helpful.
Might be
for them.
easier so that they can read it, and because if you're the last one to speak, I'll be repeating the question 4 or 5 times. We'll make a quick copy and then we'll get started.
Does anyone introduce themselves?
Yeah, if you guys want to introduce yourselves to the council while we're waiting for copies, would you please do so? Start with Jesse.
Jesse Lopez. What all you want to know?
just your name, how long you've been in Corning, and what you do.
Jesse Lopez. I was born in Corning, so that dates me a little bit. I manage an ag supply business here in town. I've been involved with city politics over the last 15 years. I served as the planning commission chair for several years, so I'm familiar with the workings of how this transpired.
Thank you. Young man?
Bruno Lopez. I'm in 8th grade, and I lived here in Corning my whole life, and I like baseball.
Oh, good. I'm glad to see that you stepped up and want to be part of the help the community. Mr. Messer?
Good evening. My name is Brent Mesker. I'm employed by City County, I'm an administrative analyst in the administration office. I've grown up in Corning my entire life. Still live here, have 2 kids here that are active, and I'm involved in local different organizations here locally. And look forward to serving on this to give other opportunities for my kids as well as other kids the ability to recreate here locally as well as in the future.
Thank you. Heidi?
Yes. My name is Heidi Sanchez. I'm just turned 28, so February 6th. I don't even know where to begin. I'm originally from downtown Los Angeles. I moved over here about 8th grade, 14, 15 years old. I went from living next to the Staples Center to going to Plaza. If you've been here for quite some time, you know Plaza Lake and all the other schools. And that was just really different. And now living here for quite some time, just wanting to get involved now and do more.
Thank you.
Great.
Christina?
Christina Hale, Corning Chamber, St. Matthew's Church, Rouge Market. You guys all know my rap sheet. I've been in Corning 25 years in the area for 35. I've raised 2 of my kids are grown now, and I'm still raising my younger ones, and, you know, I want my kids to, you know, be like you folks. I was born here, I was raised here, this is, you know, family roots. So that's all I'm investing in.
Thank you. We'll get this started. First question, and I don't care who goes first. Christina, you're closest to the podium if you'd like to go first. What from your own experience or background would you bring that would be beneficial to the Proposition 68 Recreation Center and City Plaza Ad Hoc Committee?
Experience and background. Oh gracious. Let's start with Corning Chamber of Commerce. With that organization, I do the Farmers Market, we do the Olive Festival, we do a lot of the other events. We are working with Rotary, we're working with the other service groups. That brings what is our community needs right now. That is, how does our service groups can sit there and not only support, but utilize this area as well as the families, as well as the community, as all those different things. My own personal experience, like I said, I've raised my kids. We've done wrestling, football, cheerleading, dance practice, like you name it, we've done it. So I've got the experience as far as what we've done, and my experience is yet to what else can I do. So, simple.
Thank you.
I don't know when it's appropriate to pass out some letters of recommendation, now or after would be appropriate.
You can provide them to me and I'll make
I
copies.
didn't get enough of them.
Okay.
There's 4 of each, but those are for you guys.
Thank you.
Well, there's 4 council
I'm
members.
so sorry, I'm like shaking too.
That's all right. Don't be nervous.
I'm not shaking because I'm nervous, I'm shaking because I'm really excited and I want to make sure what I have to say gets across how I want to say it. Sorry, I left the question over there. But I think the question was just what does my experience would bring to this?
Yeah, what would your own experience or background would you bring to this project?
I think the way I was raised, not just being so social since birth, like knocking on all my neighbors so they would come out and play, but also being raised in faith, everything else, how it played such a part in every single aspect of my life until now being at the age that I am. I never really noticed how much of not just help but guidance it is. And I really I really would like to not only show people around my age that that's something to look forward to, but that also helps you in sports, in your personal life, and everywhere, because that's really what helped me get through sports when I was having personal issues at home with my parents divorcing or whatever it was. It was a huge part of my life was just sports, every sport, basketball, football. Like, I was just one of the girls that was more so put into balls and pageants, but I chose to play boys sports. I chose to take that extra route and just really push myself. Even to this day, I pride myself on being able to do an oil change and change a tire completely on my own. I don't just advocate for younger people. I feel like my knowledge has really helped me to want to experience and convert that to other people, not just young as well, but about aspects. I feel like I bring a light to people, and I feel like everybody deserves to experience that in one point of their life. Sorry.
Thank you.
That's it.
Mr. Mesker.
Thank you for getting dressed up, too.
Good evening. Professionally, work for the county. I have experience in construction projects, design, build, and managing projects and project budgets. In one project specifically, we were required to reverse engineer the project to kind of come within budget. I can easily see that happening in this because everybody's going to shoot for the moon and want, the best. And so I can see, those things being beneficial to this committee as well as the community. Personally, my, the time that I've spent here in this community and the involvement that I have with different groups and organizations. The vice president of Corning Little League. I'm the president and co-founder of the Dr. Meshker Memorial Foundation, which hosts the softball tournament annually. I'm a member of the Si Se Puede, which is for the Latino Hispanic community in smokeless tobacco. So I believe, my involvement here and my experience, meets a pretty deep cross-section of the community to represent, multiple people that may not be able to serve on the committee itself. So, thank you.
Thank you. Which one of the Lopez's would like to go first?
So this year I'm in 8th grade, so I do leadership for Maywood Da Vinci, and I noticed that we have a budget and we have to follow on that budget, and our teacher was saying that we should put up a memorial for someone, but they were going to put it behind the classrooms. So I was thinking, who's going to see that? And you're going to waste money on stuff that no one's ever going to see. So I told them that they should change that, and we decided to change it. And then we I play baseball, so I have that leadership, and I play basketball, so I have that leadership, and I want to have that happen with the ad hoc committee, and I'm going to add that.
Thank you. See, it wasn't so bad.
Just gotta do it 4 more times.
My experience, I think, is maybe a little bit unique to some, considering that I've lived here my entire life. So I've seen the evolution of Corning over the last 41 years. So I think what I bring to the table is a little bit of the old and some new direction of where we could be. Professionally, I manage an ag irrigation company, so I do have construction background, I do have engineering background, I do have some things that would be beneficial as far as guidance for a committee. And I'm not the quiet voice in the room. When I'm passionate about something, it shows, and I will be vocal, and I will fight. And when I feel strongly, I try to convince people to feel as strongly and as passionate about it as I do. And I care about the community. So I think that, coupled with my experience professionally, would help in being an active voice on that committee.
Jesse, you want to just say that we're going to reverse
Sure.
order? That's all right.
So how do I envision?
Wait, I'm sorry.
Still in Dave's thunder.
I only get so much time up here to speak publicly and not get in trouble, so. How do you envision downtown Corning with the addition of the new recreation center, splash pad, and City Plaza? Go.
So my vision for this is one of hope. We travel up and down Solana Street every day. We see the shape that some of the buildings are in downtown Corning, and I'm hoping that this is a catalyst to move improvement further to the west, and make it to where it's really a center that the community is proud of. And we want to bring in outside influence. We want people to come from all around to see this wonderful park that we have. So my vision for this would be, it's a springboard for continued improvement throughout our time here in this community.
Thank you.
So what I see is with the splash pad is that after like this happens, there's gonna be more like businesses opening and then more money for Corning to continue on, and then, just like Solana Street, it'll, have people start coming, so like different businesses will get more money, and then, like he said, hopefully it'll move that way a little bit more, and we'll just keep adding on from there.
Thank you. You guys are programmed. You're programmed.
We got the down. I envision, the City Plaza, the splash pad and the recreation center as far as downtown that, Corning was needed for years. And I hope it's something that, draws people to this community to stop by as they're passing through down, I-5 or the Highway 99 corridor, to at least check out the first time. And I think once they do it once, they'll come back. I take my kids are active. We take them to the various communities to participate in the various activities. And, for one, I hope it's something that we can do to where we don't have to go out of town anymore. But I want to see other communities come into Corning. I think with that, you continue to see more development downtown, shops opening, and not only benefiting us locally to have an opportunity for our kids, but for the city as well to prosper locally here as well.
Thank you. Heidi?
Hello. I think a huge thing that comes to mind, reading all of what was going to be added to the recreational part of Corning really reminded me of what Orland has done with theirs. Because I graduated from Orland High School. I was an Orland High School cheerleader. I unfortunately didn't graduate with my year, walked down the aisle with them, but I did graduate the same year. I was going to college classes, and just being a single mom and living in that small town, I saw how much it was needed, and then getting the park after was just such a huge difference. I mean, now you have all those ice cream shops that opened downtown, a bunch of little stores, and there's just so much more to add on to that. There's like whole basketball pickup games, and it's just an all-around huge community addition. And I think as it's built, there's going to be obstacles that will arise, but I think being acknowledged of kind of all these little towns that have been slowly developing, also being on school city committees. I mean, I can't even say it. All of you, parents committee really has helped me view of kind of everything, how the flow of things go. And now it's just giving me a more of a clarity of, even though it doesn't happen over 2 years, that whole progression really does take into effect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you guys don't leave much to follow up after. Every one of the candidates gave you all great reasons, and I can give you the same reason, which I probably would if I was, further on the list. The only thing that they haven't added is that this is the beginning growth. There has been change, there's been movement in downtown Corning. That's what all of us is focused on. It is the growth of our community. The only thing that I have to add is I'm going to be selfish, and I'll let you know I'm selfish. Being across the street, I'm going to be in this office for the next 20 years. I'm going to be working with you folks in this plaza, whether I'm on the committee or not, for the next 20 years. So that's the only other thing that I have is it's across the street from us. It is a representation of the city hall, of the, foundation that is here. And I can look at it every day.
If you want to stay up there, we'll do this a snake draft style. Question number 3.
What issues are facing youth, seniors, adults, and/or the disadvantaged in our community? How can the new recreation center, splash pad, and city plaza play a role?
I'm good at those, I know. Blame me.
So far, you guys have been doing really good with the recreational classes. Those have been a big change in the movement, especially for the youth, because before there wasn't anything for them to do. You guys bringing that in has helped. But having an actual dedicated building, having a location for them to call their own to be that hub, is going to make such a difference. And not just the kids that are attending those classes, but the parents that don't know that their kids are going to start attending those classes yet. They're going to get there when this plaza is done and they're in the processes and stuff and go, okay, I want my kids involved in that. I can see where this child has this personal growth or, et cetera. That's one aspect of it. The senior part, I can't answer. Honestly, I don't know how it would help the seniors and stuff other than I know with the skate park and that community park, they enjoy the walking of it. So with this being more local downtown, it draws that walking, that shade, that atmosphere. And the splash pad to just keep me in it.
Thank you. Heidi?
Oh my gosh, sorry. I'm just trying to make the look on.
I think out of all the meetings that I've been trying to attend, one of the huge conflicts was parking. And I bring it up all the time that, it is a smaller town than growing up to when I first moved here, and every single person is, you drive around the country, it's hey, you know your neighbors and things like that, and now it's completely different. There's thousands more people who attend school and it's not, 3 people are relatives or 4 people, even though so now. But it's just more occupancy. So at every meeting I've been trying to mention that even though people try to say, it's the parents just quickly dropping off their kids or whatever, the structure is falling apart, whatever it might be, I think the hugest dilemma is parking, kind of wherever you go in a small town, because everybody comes, and it's not just, like you and your family come, and it's like 5 people already, and then you invite your whole group of families over to a picnic at the park or staying out, and then there's already people there. That's how many cars already. And in Orland, I know that they have the whole strip around for their parking. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at how the parking would be set up for this part, but I know that is like a huge thing that does come up later on is accessibility to parking and whether parties are going to be held there, also that being kind of, having its own kind of parking space per se. I feel like it's such a lengthy question. I just kind of wrote down the park would bring cultures together, because initially it does. You have everybody living in their own homes in the way that they choose to grow up their children in their own manner, and all of that comes together. And also social media, that comes to a huge part. Some of the meetings, they were talking about bathrooms being destroyed because of TikTok, things like that. And I think just right constructive staffing that's just, it's hard to say that it's just, well-rounded. I mean, in a lot of schools nowadays, there's honestly so many teachers that have 75, or I don't know, however much you want to say, 4 students in the class that don't know anything of English, so they can't communicate with their teacher. I hate to say that it is a very cultured town, but it is. So I'm excited to see how much that comes into play with our schools. Now, that is one of the school's regulations because they got audited, and that was one of the things that came up that said, we do need to focus on having more Spanish-speaking teachers to assist the, I hate to say the gap in between, but it is. So I'm just excited to see, even if I join or not, to see how it blossoms. Thank you.
Thank you.
And some of the issues facing youth specifically, in my opinion, are technology these days. There's too much of it, too many game consoles, not enough kids being active. But I think, obviously this plaza and this rec center aren't going to be constructed and built overnight, but I think the timing is perfect with, I'm going to go ahead and say at the ending of the pandemic, people are looking for things to do now. And so now is not a better time, and I think, it's one of those things, if you build it, they're going to come. And so, I think that's it on that one. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what I see happening is that people are gonna start, kids and, older people too are gonna become more active, and, grandparents are gonna wanna take their kids there, or their grandkids there to have, fun and hang out with each other, and then, it'll get, kids to start moving around a little bit more, because, and it's the same way for me, I get sucked into my phone or something, and it makes me just wanna lay on my bed and, play video games or something, but, getting out and doing something active will really help there.
Thank you.
So I think it's been hit on the head. Technology is a big issue, not only for youth, but for seniors and adults. And I could see this turning that disadvantage into an advantage, because it's going to be inclusive. We're going to include youth. We're going to include seniors. We're going to include adults. And hopefully we can see the recreational program expand to offer more for seniors and more for adults. I think overall, and this is an opinion of mine, and it's mine only, and maybe not, we suffer from a lack of pride in our community. You drive around streets, you see stuff, and it makes you cringe. So having a nice new facility right in the heart of downtown, right where everyone can see, that's nice, hopefully it entices them to do better, to be better. How can this new recreation center, so I think I just answered that. So, be better. That's what I got. I want the community to be better.
Don't vote on it.
I'm not going anywhere.
Who's got question number 4?
Do you want me to read it?
What types of events do you envision at the New City Plaza and Amphitheater? Would you be willing to volunteer to assist with the community events?
Do I have to put my hand up and swear that I would, or? Ideally, I would like to be involved. I think, question 4 and question 5 kind of roll together. So the short answer is, I would do whatever I could possible to make sure that it was successful. If it's, manning a booth, picking up trash, cleaning graffiti, whatever I would need to do there, I would be willing, because, if I'm selected to this committee, I'm going to be intimately involved with the process. What types of events? It could run a long list. I know the food truck and farmers market thing has been talked about lately. We have a central location now where maybe that could be housed. I know Chico does, I think it's called Fork in the Road. I would love to see our community be able to support something like that, and bring everybody out. We could do talent shows. We could do, the sky's the limit, really. We could be as creative as we wanted to be, and come up with some really unique ideas to really involve community and get the most use out of that. So I think that's, we have a blank canvas, and we can really, really do some good things with it, with the talented people that we have here. I do want to say too, I do appreciate the work that staff and council has put in to be able to secure this grant. I think it's huge for the community, and I think that it's nice to know that the city is looking out for everybody and trying to create opportunity. So I'm grateful to staff and council for spearheading this and getting this going.
Thank you.
So I would volunteer to help with different stuff. I could like pick up trash or clean different stuff, or I could clean bathrooms or something, I don't know. But I would like to help. I think like different events would be like a good talk, like if we had like a night or something, where like on Friday nights or Saturday nights, we had like this, like once a month or something, we'd have like different taco trucks, and like we have them out here, and then like people would be able to go to Splash Pad, and it would be, I think it would be pretty cool.
Thank you.
So as far as some specific events that I just kind of recently jotted down back there were, aerobics, cornhole, yoga, music, art, dance, culture, day camps. Tied in with what Chrissy's really already doing here is really going to be beneficial. We've got a jump start into a rec program, now with a facility as well to go with it, and a plaza. As far as being, willing and able to assist and volunteer, the time that I do put in this community is because I want to give back to this community for what it gave me growing up. And so I'm thankful for that, and either way, whether I'm selected to serve on this committee or not, if there's anything that I can do ever in any event or any situation.
I did football volunteer.
I saw that.
You said it, Brent.
And it's recorded.
So the question was, what types of events do you envision? I think just city events, not just community events, like gatherings or things like that, a little, a little place where people, the city members or whatever it may be, committees that meet to gather out there as well. Because sometimes it's a little different bring your children and then they're just outside of the park. It really does make a huge difference. Not just that, family gatherings. I've seen some nature kind of events, things not being able to be at schools for legal reasons or whatever other reasons it may be. So maybe being able to be at the park and schools go there since, it's in town, not as expensive locally. I've seen that being done, I thought was amazing, just because it kind of opens a whole new door, especially us being in Northern California and so would be out here. It's just really great for them to see things like that and then be like, oh wow, we have a lot of those things here where it's like, families could commute an hour out where they don't really look because children aren't as interested in that dirt field anymore. I can't pronounce it. Where it says envision at the New City Plaza and
Amphitheater.
The amphitheater. That one is, I see it as the one in Chico, but I wrote down just maybe more maintenance than the one in Chico, because that's what it would be, correct? Like how Downtown Plaza has their kind of open amphitheater. Is that kind of how it would be?
Similar, I believe.
Yeah. And I say that because I know over the time with COVID and things like that happen, that's where a lot of people tended to migrate. So I think learning from there would be a huge thing as well, just to be taking notes from that. And yeah, I think that's it. Sorry.
That's all right, thank you. Christina?
Brent, was your name? Yep. Okay. I'm signing up for his classes. I like all of his suggestions so far. Yeah, that was, it's just, emphasize on that is not just the recreational classes, for the kids and stuff, but adult focus classes. To sit there and then, even if we got, like the jammers, come out there in the evenings and stuff, it's opportunity for all ages. That's what the focus is. But yeah, I'm signing up for his classes, so when you pass that slip around, let me know.
I think he's gonna be coaching flag football here soon, so.
Yeah. I'll be a cheerleader. But yeah. As far as volunteering, that's funny. No, I'm volunteering unless you guys want me or not, so. Like I said, we work so much together anyway, so, we're continuing the olive festivals, the salon markets and stuff. You have my right hand at all times anyway, So, who's going on with question 5?
I will. What motivated you to apply for the ad hoc committee, and what do you hope to accomplish for your participation?
Like I said, my motivation is, I've got 2 kids invested. I've got not only more children, I have grandchildren coming. I have nieces and nephews. I have my children's teammates. I have a future invested here. Like I said, that I keep resorting back to home roots. I sat there, and when I first started my family, I was from Sacramento. And I realized that's not what my family wanted to be. That's not who I wanted to be. And that's why I came to Corning, and I haven't left yet. And I'm not leaving because this is home. Home is where you put your roots. Home is where you grow from. Home is where you make your springboard, your post, and you raise your kids so they come back with their kids. This is my investment. This is, my roots. My tree blends with all of your guys' roots. And as far as hoping to accomplish my participation, just to be a part of it. Just to sit there and know that true heart has been put into the thought process. Not the schematics, not the, okay, what's going to work out for this plan or this arrangement, but heart. Your actual dedication in your city, in your area. Ready?
Thank you. Heidi?
I forgot to say that I would volunteer on the last question. I don't want you to think that I didn't answer because I wasn't willing. I've always volunteered, and not just that, I've really tried to take appreciation and enjoy what I do as a volunteer. I could go on and on, the way that I was raised, because I really just, like I said before, at the age that I am, I'm just really grateful and blessed to not only be raised at where I was, but also being able to move around and adapt to where I was, and meeting blessed people that, sometimes I was struggling living on my own at 18 with 2 children, a 1-year-old and a newborn, and somebody just stopped me and just said, it's hard right now, and you're crying, and you're at a gas station, but don't let this make you feel like this is it. And things like that, numerous times have I had that in my life, and I would love to continue to be that for other people. So I've always volunteered and would love to. I feel really strongly when I applied for this, and what really motivated me was that when I was raised in downtown Los Angeles, my uncle being the director of the recreational parks and just hanging out there all the time, and even moving up here and still going down for the summer and being so active in it, and it made me feel like even the people there made me feel, the staff members and everybody that joined and our basketball teams and everything, made me feel like I didn't leave, like I was there. And it really, even though it was always go, hour drive to get to one destination to another, it really is the people that bring a place together. The next question says, what do you hope to accomplish by participation? I would hope just to bring my input. My dad has worked in construction. He works for the union. I not only know things off the basis, but I feel like my brain works at such a capacity, it just blurts things out, and I don't say things unless I'm really sure. So it's just hard to describe. People say that they don't want, that they just can't wait to stop going to school. I don't ever want to stop going to school. I don't ever want to be not in a position where I don't feel for it strongly. And I've been thankful to always be put in that position, so I really hope you consider me. Thank you.
Thank you.
So it's, my dedication and commitment to this community to see it become a better place is what motivated me to apply for the ad hoc committee, along with my kids, their friends, the youth in this community, who really are our future, and for it to be a better place for them to grow up and for future generations, and for them to have something that can be utilized. I participated in these meetings, some of these meetings from the beginning, and so to be able to see this completely play out and be successful is something that I'd like to accomplish.
So what motivated me is that not, like, as you can see, not that, like, no one that's, like, a youth member came or signed up. So I think it's good to have someone that's in the, like, in school and, like, in the youth community, help with this project. And what I hope to accomplish is that, like, I keep kind of growing and continue, like, at some point go up there or something.
You don't want this.
See Corning grow and get a lot bigger and see a lot more people come to Corning. Thanks.
Thank you.
So this is a little emotional for me, and I say that because when he was born, the week he was born, I was chair of planning commission, and I brought him in. He was a couple days old, and he sat up there with me. So it's cool to see him, evolve in this. But it's personal for me as well, because I've always had a desire to be involved in this community. I take great pride in where I'm from. Corning is hometown, and so I'm not going to call it a career, but my stint as being involved in city politics started 15 years ago, and there were some bumps and hiccups along the way, and I moved out of it, but I still have that desire. And when I saw this and I talked to Christy about it, something sparked. And so I want to be part of a solution and not the person that's on the sideline saying, well, I wish we'd do this and I wish we'd do that. I want to be the loudest voice in the room, and I pride myself in being the loudest voice in the room. So that's my motivation. What do I hope to accomplish? I want to make the community stronger. I want to make the community proud. I want people in our community to be proud of where they come from and not to say, oh, I'm from Corning, because it's a great community to live in. So my motivation is a little bit selfish, but a little bit not. So with that, I say thank you and good luck in decision making.
Thank you.
Are there any follow-up questions that the council members would like to ask that weren't included?
Yeah. First of all, I want to thank you all for attending tonight, and young Mr. Lopez, I admire you for wanting to be involved at your young age, and your dad is setting a good example for you to try and be involved, and thank you very much. We deeply appreciate it. My question, Brent kind of touched on it a little bit, is we had, 10 meetings when we were designing, or trying to design the park?
A lot.
I was at all one, I think, but how many of you, although Brent already said he was at some of the meetings, how many of you attended any of those meetings and helping us kind of design or pick out features for the park that we were hoping to get a grant for at that time?
I'm so sorry. This meetings were before you had posted on Corning's page about just volunteers, right?
Yes, this was a year and a half ago when we first started. We were already turned down for this grant once, and due to our people being bulldogs, not giving up, we applied for it again and received it. But we did have a series of meetings.
Pre-COVID.
Yeah, it was just before the pandemic.
Everything was pre and post.
Seems like I was a young man back then. But anyways, I know Brent was at a few, I remember him being there, but was anybody else at any of the meetings? I'm just curious, not that that's a requirement, but.
Admittedly, I was not. However, I will say, I faithfully read the Friday notes and have for a long time, and I really appreciate them being online. It makes it easy. So even though I haven't been involved, I kept myself abreast of what's happening. And so I feel like I have a working knowledge of what's happening. So did I physically attend them? I did not.
That whole process, we had quite a diverse bunch of opinions of what is wanted and what is desired in the park, and I mean, it was good to see what everybody was kind of hoping to achieve, and I hope we're going to get there and fulfill most of their wants and dreams. Ms. Hargens, Councilmember Hargens, and myself are going to be on the committee, and I would have had it no other way. As several of you, I've lived here all my life, and I owe a great deal to this town. This town has done a lot for me, and I'm going to continue to serve it as long as there's breath in my lungs.
I have a question. It's really not a question, but and you can just do a show of hands, if you're not chosen for this committee, do you still plan on taking an active part in coming to the meetings and helping, because I want to see all of you there. I mean, we can't have all of you on the committee, which is really too bad. But
I am on the all of you site council, and now I'm attending the district meeting, so it is 100% something I really just even wanted to know about it.
awesome, because I mean, all of you have great ideas, and it would be great to have you all there and your input. I mean, and for you to even come this far, I would hope that you would continue on and be part of it.
I know you got here a little late today. Do you have anything that you would like, a question that you have for them, or?
No, I just want to say thank you for coming and trying to make a difference in our community. I know everyone, and every single one of you I know at a personal level. I know so much about you. It's going to be a hard choice because you're all so good. Like, it just seems like all of you are fit for this. But sadly, there's only going to be 2 chosen, and just, 3. Then that's even better, 3 of you. So yeah, I look forward to even just seeing you, like, our meetings or anywhere. Just volunteer your time like we have, or I have, and it just really does make a big difference when you're involved.
Karen, you have anything else?
It's not really a question, it's more of a statement. No matter what as a group you choose to be in our park, and I know that you're going to take into consideration some of the pre-planning meetings and stuff that have gone on, no matter what you guys choose, and even if you think you're doing the best, you're going to get people who are just not really nice. I have to say, with social media, being on city council, I did not even expect some of the stuff, or people call on my work phone and tell me things that are just really not very nice. So you have to be prepared for that. I know you're prepared. You have the look, So even when you're doing your best, it's not easy always.
There's not nice people out there?
I love Corning, and I would say I love everyone in Corning, but there are some people that have some very strong opinions.
Yes, there are.
Very strong opinions.
I'll reiterate what everybody else has said. I don't have any more questions for you either. I do appreciate everybody that applied, come out, wants to be part of it. Like we've all stressed, we can only choose certain people, or a certain number of people. I definitely would like to see each and every one of you, whether you're selected to sit on the board or not, to attend the meetings, voice your opinion. We had two separate park grant applications we did, and both of them we had a very different, diverse group of people each time, and you got different opinions, and it was good to see. But I think we come together with a really good product. I think it's going to be great for this community, and I'm very thankful that you guys are willing to step up and try to lead the way to make this happen.
It's a great process. I mean, it was one of the best things I've ever done, and I think that's probably what made me want to run for city council. It was.
So, if we don't have any more questions for our participants in the audience, write down your selections, and are we going to give them to you to tally?
Yeah, I'll tally them. There's other opportunities.
We wanted to touch horse.
We pass that down.
We're choosing an ad hoc committee tonight.
Okay.
So, did you apply?
Oh, did you have to apply in advance?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not, I thought I probably knew her.
Oh, yeah.
But that's good, you'll be able to see who the first committee members are.
There we go, I'm happy to be here either way.
And you still volunteer once you go.
Yeah, well, that's what the other thing, whether there's plenty of other people, so I wasn't.
And you can attend all the meetings as well.
Right, thank you.
We welcome you.
Never enough volunteers.
There you go.
Number of volunteers and the more input that we get from the community on it, you like a broad selection of choices for the people that sit on the board. Instead of just looking at something one direction, then the people that come and attend the meeting say, hey, what about this and what about this? And then it just opens that door and you go, okay, let's have a conversation about that. So we like to have a lot of people attend the meetings, whether you're part of the board or not.
I have one question, and I don't know who this is.
Probably me. But, well, I was gonna give Lisa the pin.
Oh, we're waiting for them to tell you, let's just let me introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Michael Nowak, and I've been a Corning resident for 10 years. So there's a splash park going in, and I take care of, I have a business where I maintain pools for people around town here, and anything that has to do with water splashing around, I want to be part of it.
That will be a good fit, especially when it's come with our 100-degree temperatures in the summer.
That's what keeps me busy, yes.
Yeah, I've got it. Doing some cool last time. To get in the table.
Yeah. Ultimately, having a place for anybody in the community, kids, adults, the elderly people, it doesn't matter. Anybody can go there, enjoy the splash pad, enjoy the amphitheater, the park benches, the walking path, the rec center. I mean, it's going to be a huge thing for this community. And I can't thank staff enough, everybody at City Hall that worked very hard on getting this grant and being successful, because this was the second time we applied for the site across the street. We were rejected once before. They didn't give up on it. They kept fighting for it, and I'm very thankful.
Chris is gonna sing at our first concert in the park, aren't you?
I'm done.
You done?
I'm done. Do you want me to make the announcement?
Sure.
So the ad hoc committee members will be Jesse Lopez, Bruno Lopez, and Brant Mesker. So I hope that everyone else does participate, because all of your voices really matter. Even if you didn't apply and that you just showed up, your voice really does still matter, and it's all part of the community process. These ad hoc committee members need to hear your opinions in order to help make recommendations that best meet the desires and needs of the community. So I hope that every single one of you will participate and encourage others to participate in the process. It was from my perspective, a really open opportunity for folks to network, brainstorm, and really give their ideas, and we learn from each other. And I think because of that, it could be seen through the application, and that's why it was funded, is that you could see that the concepts were really well thought out, and that was all because of you, the community members.
We definitely want to see friends, family, of everybody come to the meetings, be a part of the project. This is a community-based project. All the meetings we had, it was part of the application process. It wasn't run by the city council. We had meetings here, it was for the public, put on by Christine led it, but they were public meetings, public hearings. The public made the choices. And when it was all said and done, it came to council for approval to apply, but it was a community-based project, and we need everybody in the community to continue to come help.
And it wasn't the same people every meeting. There was a different variety of people each meeting. Sometimes it was 5, sometimes there was 20. So even if you can't make it to all the meetings, try to make it to the ones that you can.
Definitely.
And they'll all be noticed on our Recreation Facebook page, along with the city website, so whichever you find easier to follow.
Will they also be broadcast?
I haven't made that decision yet. Yeah. That'll be more difficult to manage, so we'll need to brainstorm that a little bit, yeah.
Is there any idea when we're going to start having these meetings?
So we'll start having the meetings. That's a really good question. So right now we're in property negotiations. So once we start getting really into the design phase where we need your input, we have to provide some clarification. Every single recreation feature that was included in the grant application, we have to put in. So at this point of the process, it won't be choosing recreation features, it will be selecting the design of those features in more clarity. And we already received some input, so just for an example, the recreation center, the folks in the design process previous wanted it to be consistent with the mission look of the city. So that will be the general look, but then you can understand that there's many different looks that are mission style. So this committee would be looking at those different design styles of the mission look and providing input, and as well as budgetary considerations as well, because we do have that $8.5 million budget we're working with. Does that provide clarity? So I don't have an exact time frame, but probably within the next couple of months or so, we'll make sure that we keep you completely apprised.
All right, well, if there's no other questions, thank you all for coming tonight. Appreciate it. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Yeah, please, I think you want to take all this.
I was looking at your cell phone number. I need to put it in my phone.
I'm gonna get this for you Saturday.
That was at 6. You were right on time for 6 o'clock.
I don't like to come in early, but I don't like to be late.
Yeah.
I know, I thought you were got a job with
You were laughing at me. I was like, I know you.